This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we're the ones who've encouraged you all along to like and share them on your favorite social media and with all your friends and neighbors because it's time for Joanne's Nutrition World to bring you Joanne's World of Nutrition with the one and only Joanne Seeger.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's having an incredible morning. For all of you listening, I really appreciate it. I'm so grateful for all my listeners. And we need to do some breath work this morning. I was up early, so my brain's been going. I'm going to announce a little bit of a decision that I need help making. So we need to do breath work. How about the simple one? Just 5 seconds in through the nose, 5 seconds out, and 2 times. All right?
Yeah.
Let's drop our shoulders, relax our
right.
eyebrows, and just do a deep
Let
exhale
all the
out.
air
Anything that
out.
doesn't feel right, get it the heck out of the body.
Okay, and now I'm going to count 5 seconds in, then we're going to go 5 seconds out. Stand by, folks. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm making sure they're
ready.
ready. Okay, here we go. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In out 2, 3, 4, 5.
Laughing is very therapeutic as well,
That's
so
right.
that's okay if you giggle. All right, so today's topic is parasites.
That's not just two.
Right.
That's not a pair of sites. No, parasites.
So
Many.
in Crass Square, where I am, formerly known as the Arcade Building in downtown Fort Pierce, it's this beautiful building. It's just a historic building. I love being in it. It's like family. All the other business owners are family to me. And across the hall, I have the coolest gals, Kelly and her daughter Leandra. They own Kick-Ass Beauty. And oops, that's right. Can I say that?
Can you say that on the radio?
Do you know some people get offended by the name, but I think it's super cool. I
Well,
love it.
Yeah, it's okay to say something if you're regarding kicking it. You just can't talk about kissing it.
Okay, sounds good. So she has a hair salon where she uses all natural products. Leandra does facials, Reiki facials with all natural products. They're just really cool girls. They do beginners yoga in this empty space because they have the whole length of between each hallway, and just really cool people. So they came in, they were like, you know what, Joanne, we want to do a parasite cleanse. And I was like, you know what? I haven't done one myself in a while. I've kind of, the popularity of it has kind of gone down a bit, I think, because as I discussed it this morning, it is a little trying to get rid of these sneaky little things. But definitely not impossible. There are many solutions, and we're going to go over all of them. But they motivated me to, again, research it. Now, I used to do parasite cleanse every year for about 20 years. It was just kind of what I did. It was normal. And then again, you know, when life takes you on detours and you kind of avoid the obvious, like, you really need to do this, Joanne, you know, you kind of get detoured. So I am glad they motivated me. Matt and my husband, you know, he's going to do it with me. I'm hopefully get the whole family involved because it is a really serious thing. As I looked up the recent research, it was even more kind of shocking than when I looked it up 20 years ago.
Let me take a guess. I'll bet you there are more different kinds of parasites than the ones we commonly think of, like mosquitoes and
Yes.
or maybe other vermin who would feast off of you. You know, the bloodthirsty
Absolutely.
type.
I don't really know if they have an exact number because I think we discover things every single day. But there are 3 billion people affected worldwide with parasites. That's almost 60 to 70% of the population. That's crazy. 300,000 people die each year in the world from parasites. So this is definitely something we want to be aware of. Listen to the knowledge and then kind of take an action step. There are some solutions that are not just for if you don't identify with the symptomology that I'm going to go over, then that's okay. Some of these steps you can use to just be healthier and have an improved body, and that way you will have a strong immune system where the parasites, we are so adaptable. We are miraculous. And we do fight parasites each and every moment. So, you have a trillion of things trying to kind of make a home in our bodies, right? And so some things really create, just a tiny issue, and then some things create bigger issues. So we want the things that create the bigger issues, dead and gone as quick as they come in, and we want a system that can kill them. And in order to have that system, we have to be rested. We have to have lots of nutrients. We have to have our stress levels lowered, all the obvious. So today, I'm going to try to go over the things that aren't so obvious. And at the end of the show, I'll remind you about the basics once again. All right, so parasites. Most of us think of worms, right? So there's roundworm, hookworms, pinworms, tapeworms, but also too, like Lyme's disease, lice, bed bugs. There's a lot of different ways, like viruses. A lot of them are kind of grouped into parasites. And so it's pretty much anything that we're being a host to. We are feeding it and we're keeping it alive, and it is using our resources to thrive. And unfortunately, when it does that, we are left kind of hanging with leftovers. And when we do that, we do not thrive. We do not have the best vitality. So we want to kind of take over our body. And some of the causes of this, some people might be listening going, well, I never eat raw fish, or I don't eat pork, like, which is the most common things that when you Google you might see. But it's more than that. You can get it from walking barefoot on the beach. You can get it from a restroom, obviously, hospitals, your pets. I mean, I love my dogs, and Matt like get grossed out at night because one of my dogs is a lap dog, and I'll kiss him and I'll hug him, and who knows what's going on there. But they do increase your lifespan, so that's a positive offset for that. But yes, mosquitoes, water, there's so many ways to get a parasite in. And when you look on YouTube or you buy some of these parasite books, you'll see stories where people are, showing what happened when they did a parasite cleanse and what came out of their bodies. And it's very dramatic. Like some of these things are like 2 feet long and they're disgusting. And you're like, how could that be in our body? How could we not know this? But the symptoms are always there, but we kind of make excuses like, oh, that must be aging. That must be, for me, menopause. That must be just overworked. I'm too stressed, having struggles, But really, the parasite symptoms are crazy long. So I'm just going to cover just some of the basics, like the 10 basics. And I don't know about you guys, but boy, I can identify with a lot of them. I might even go over more than 10 because it's crazy how many of these I'm like, whoa, really? Okay, so this one should be obvious, right? Digestive reactions. So whether it be diarrhea or constipation or bloating or gas, just not really having control of your digestive system, where each and every day you're like, okay, what's going to happen now? Am I going to get super bloated where my pants are uncomfortable? Am I constipated, or do I have to run to the bathroom and rush? So those are definite, those are the most obvious signs that a parasite's controlling your bowel and not you. The next is fatigue. So it doesn't have to be as extreme as chronic fatigue syndrome, but just generalized fatigue. You wake up after, a good 8 hours sleep and you're still feeling very heavy. You're feeling like you can't really get that energy to get up and get out of the house. So fatigue is really a difficult one to diagnose because again, there's so many reasons. But when you just start like after a few days going, I'm not usually this tired, what's going on? That you definitely want to put on the symptom list. The next kind of goes with fatigue, so I left it as number two, and that is anemia. So low iron. I have had many customers and clients come in recently, and I think I even discussed this on another show, that I was kind of alarmed how many people were getting, especially men, were getting blood tests that saying they were anemic, but they, were eating the right foods. They usually older men don't tend to get anemia unless something else is going on. And so a parasite can cause anemia or low iron. So if a doctor makes you aware that your hemoglobin's off and just kind of says, oh, go buy some iron, maybe consider this as well. Maybe kind of just give it some thought, like maybe it's not just that I need more iron, because remember, there's a reason for everything. Always want to figure out the cause, not just go by the symptom. All right, the next is itchiness. Now, I remember my midwife, we were kind of cracking up about this, and she would always tell her patients that if your child has itchiness and keeps rubbing their butt, then you want to take a flashlight while they're sleeping and shine it on their backside and see what tries to come out. Now, I know that sounds absolutely disgusting, but that is just like moms would do that. If the child would always have diaper rash and itchiness and uncomfortableness and again, stool changes, you would take that flashlight and put it towards the butt to see if there were any worms or parasites in your child's digestive system. So they do come to us too. We don't seem to feel comfortable these days to ask our significant others to shine flashlights there, but this is again something that is real and is a problem, as I'll keep discussing the symptoms. They're not going to get any more exciting, right? So next is mood changes, anxiety and depression. I don't know about my listeners, but I hear an awful lot of that these days where people are really suffering, even medicated, they're still not feeling better. So anxiety and depression are one of the symptoms of parasite infection. Isn't that crazy, right? And so let's go back to the microbiome. The microbiome is where your dopamine, your serotonin, all these amazing neurotransmitters that help us, wake up, stay alert, stay happy. This is going to interfere with that. So it all makes sense if you really keep going to the source of what the parasites feed on and where they live. They're disturbing everything and anything. The next is skin changes. Now that's what I suffer with the most. And for pretty much I've been using the excuse that, I'm a blue-eyed Irish girl, that the sun just really likes to beat up on my skin. And when my mom was, when I was young, my mom would bring me to the beach and we did baby oil and all those things. But honestly, a lot of the things that are going on in my skin now at 56, I'm kind of relating it to all the symptomology that they're saying the parasites do. So if you have dryness, itchiness, or a little patchiness, parasites really are to blame for most of these. That was very interesting, and redness as well. Us Irish folk are really famous for having red patchiness. So definitely parasites can be a cause for this. The next one is cravings for sugar. Now, this is a hard one to diagnose because I feel like most of the population loves carbohydrates and sweets these days. But if you can kind of tell the difference between just consuming it as a meal or craving it. And especially milk sugar. So milk, ice cream, yogurt, creamy dairy products. I used to use an example for Candida, which is a yeast that only 1 tablespoon of milk will feed the Candida for 24 hours. So just imagine, having, a big bowl of ice cream. That's going to feed this parasite family for a long time. It's going to make it super happy. So if you're having extreme cravings for sweets or milky fats and sugars, then that's something to consider. I just said milky fats, but I didn't mean that one. Take that back, scratch. So just the milk sugar, the lactose that's in the milk, that feeds the parasite. The next symptomology is appetite changes. So whether you're slim or you're on the heavy side, you can still have a parasite. The parasite does not care what size you are. It loves a warm, moist environment that it's being fed. That's all it cares about. And so your colon system, your intestinal system is long and moist, and it makes a fertile growing ground for these, parasites. So some of the myth is that only skinny people, because the parasite just eats everything. So you would eat and eat and eat, and that parasite would just eat it all. And that's why you're getting so slim and the parasite's getting fatter. But that's not always the case. There's so many different type of the parasites, and a lot of them are so microscopic that they just kind of live within the villi of the intestinal tract. And especially if you have leaky gut, it's letting these parasites kind of come in and out. Like it's like these doors are supposed to be shut and they're opening, and they can just go out and cause havoc in the body. So you really want to watch out for those extreme cravings. That's definitely something that I've confessed on this show, that it's really difficult for me, as much knowledge as I have, like to really control that sweet tooth. Of course, I try to choose the organic, the dark chocolate, all the good choices in the sweet world, but really sugar is sugar, and it's really bad for us. And I definitely know better, but when those cravings come, it's really, really tough. And that's why I'm going to do a parasite cleanse. All right, the next one is the brain fog. So the brain fog is something interesting, because with brain fog, I think I discussed it on last week's show. It's really where you're kind of just like, wait, what was I doing? Or what do I need to do? Or just, my brain feels heavy, or my head feels heavy, or my eyes feel heavy. So not a good feeling, and not to really, you can't multitask. You can't really get your day done efficiently when you have that type of
It's like
feeling.
when you walk into a room and then wonder, what the heck am I doing in here? I came in here for something. Well,
I know, I know. I see all those jokes on Facebook and I laugh, because this morning, as I'm researching for the show, I'm literally going from where I watch all the screens, right? I going back and forth into the kitchen going, wait, what did I come in here for? What did I, like 5 times. It was incredible. So yeah, so brain fog can really mess up your day. So you want to get rid of that for sure.
and it happens at
So
all ages, not just when you get older.
that's true.
Like
That's
me.
true. My kids have it definitely, and they tell me that, Mom, don't worry. It's we have it too. I'm like, no, yeah, we all have it.
Brain
It's
fog
not
is
really good.
that's a good explanation. Brain fog, yeah.
Yeah, not
Okay.
good. The next one is allergies. So allergies, again, most of the time in the medical system, they treat the symptom, right? They want to unstuff your nose or get the redness out of your eyes. But it's really, that is completely symptomology. So the cause, they might just say it's your immune system. But why is your immune system down? It could be the parasites, because the parasites are attacking your immune system, which leads me to the other ones that I was going to mention. So autoimmune is a symptomology of parasites. Grinding your teeth at night. I don't think I'm as bad as I used to be, but I definitely feel some nights I do grind. And also the toss and turn, the flipping in the bed, right side, left side, back and forth. That's also parasite symptomology. Red in your eyes. I think that kind of goes along with allergy, but you can have the red in your eyes and also not the allergy. So another symptom of the parasite. I mean, this is just a small grouping of symptoms. And I don't know if you identify with any of them, but man, I definitely identify with a bunch of them. So if you have friends, neighbors, colleagues, you might want to spread this information. This is one of those weird taboo subjects that no one ever talks about, even though, once again, almost 70% of the population has a parasite infection. So the medical system used to have two drugs, and you're funny, Greg. Get out of here. So the medical system used to have two drugs that was a simple fix for the parasite. And they used to be very inexpensive, just a few bucks. Unfortunately, now they're hundreds of dollars. But I really, even though those were great in emergency situations, someone went to, out of the country and they came back and right away they knew they were super sick, something was wrong. They go to the hospital, yes, they get this treatment and they would feel better. But if you have more of a chronic situation, not acute, where you might eat sushi every weekend or pork a lot, or you walk in the park, with barefoot, who knows what the reason is, then you might want to consider something more long term and supporting your gut health, because you can kill one, but if you don't make your system, let's just say, where the parasites love living in you, then another one will come for sure. So you can kill one real quick, but more will come. So I'm going to try to give you not only a cleanse to kill what might be there now, but also to make your system where it runs properly and kills them appropriately. So that way you don't have to worry about having any of the symptomology.
A lot of
So,
folks, they think of the big things like leeches and ticks and fleas and things like that, but are there microscopic parasites as well?
yes.
One-celled animals?
Yes, do you know I can see them in the Ion Foot Detox? And that machine, a lot of people are skeptical until they come into the wellness center, they actually do it. My machine is thousands of dollars. It's not those cheap gimmicks that you can buy online. It's the real deal. We've been doing it for 22 years. Bert, the clinical nutritionist that I have on every month at his clinic, he does them as well. He has gotten amazing, amazing results using his for his patients. So again, you don't see it and you don't believe it until you see it. But they are in us. Most of them you can't see. They're microscopic until they start eating and thriving and they grow. My massage therapist, Jess, that I have in the wellness center, she's really big on doing parasite cleanses. She's also very motivating. She will show me pictures of what comes out of her, and I'm like, oh my God, but I know they're in there. I do know they're in there, but you don't really think they're bothering you until you look at this list and go, oh yeah, got it, got it, got it, got it. All right, so let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what changes we can make and what a parasite cleanse would look like. And again, it's not too hard. You just got to buy a little bit of stuff and you just got to make an effort. All right, we'll be right back with more Parasite Detox.
Wow, my back itches now. Well, we'll take a little break and we'll be right back with more Joanne's World of Nutrition right here on WPSL.
Hi, this is Joanne from Nutrition World and Wellness Center. I am really excited to introduce new guests and topics to my show every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. here on WPSL, where my listeners can call in on any topic. If I don't know the answer, I'll try to find it. We want to help you become the best version of yourself. We'll have naturopaths, coaches. I am looking forward to sharing my years of experience with my listeners so we can enjoy this life journey together.
Visit Joanne's Nutrition World in the Kras Square, formerly known as the Arcade Building, located at US 1 and Orange Avenue, across from Fort Pierce City Hall. Open Monday through Friday from 10 to 4, Saturdays 10 to 3. Taking appointments for the Wellness Center online at joannesnutritionworld.com or call 772-464-3598. Join Joanne Seeger as she guides the Treasure Coast to health, one person at a time, on Joanne's World of Nutrition, Wednesday mornings at 10 on WPSL.
I am so excited to share with all my listeners all the cutting-edge health topics of today. I look forward to hearing from you. Remember, it's a live call-in show. Any questions you have on health and nutrition, I look forward to answering.
Join us here for Joanne's World of Nutrition every Wednesday morning at 10 on WPSL.
Is your business back open 100%? Having trouble hiring a staff? Let WPSL WSTU help you fill those jobs. Call us 340-1590 for details.
We now return to Joanne's World of Nutrition, presented each week at this time by Joanne's Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce. Once again, here's your host, Joanne Seeger.
Hi everyone, thank you for spending some time with me this morning. We are discussing a parasite detox. I did announce at the beginning of the show that I had a question for the listeners. If you guys wouldn't mind calling the store, I would really appreciate your input. So the store's number is 772-464-3598, and this is for my local listeners. If you were shopping at Nutrition Smart, which unfortunately has closed, can you give a ring on what area you live? I am considering opening up a second location. I have a few things in the works, but I would like some input on where my listeners live, and especially if the Fort Pierce location is not convenient to them. So if you can get some input, I'm just kind of trying to get some good energy, some momentum, some prayers for a logical decision that should be made hopefully today or within the next 24 hours. So I love my listeners. So many of you, when you come in, you light up my day, and I'm just asking for some help now for some clarity. All right, so here we go. So parasites, those wormy, gross things. I was just telling Cliff during the break that, it reminds me, some of them, of like egg noodles that are, super long and slimy and, gross, but it's kind of weird. I mean, a lot of us kind of, after we have a bowel movement, we take a quick peek to just make sure all is well in the world, But can you imagine turning around and seeing something like that in your toilet? Little creepy, little creepy. Now, there are some specialists that say you have to fork your poop, and you literally take like a plastic fork and you kind of spread it apart, because some of them you can't see so easily. But that's not the way I roll. I kind of just hope that everything's working just the way it's meant to be, and flush and move on. Now, I guess if I did see a 2-foot worm coming out of me, yes. And you usually can tell when it's about to happen, because like you have these extreme cravings as it's dying. Just like when Candida dies, you start getting die off, and things get itchier and really uncomfortable. And with the parasites, as they move, and some people that are very slim can feel them, they all of a sudden have extreme fatigue and extreme cravings for sugar. Like, I have to have something processed or else I'm going to die kind of feeling. And that is the parasite's last attempt to get nourishment before it's dead. So
I remember about a 4-year-old girl many years ago who had gotten sick and vomited up a worm that was about 10 inches long.
yeah.
And it was white. It wasn't like your earthworm.
A lot of them are
like
white.
Nasty.
Yeah, a lot of them are cream colored, I've noticed. Some people, always picture worms like dark, but most of the intestinal ones that I have seen are cream colored. So disgusting. Oh my gosh, so disgusting. Yeah, I know they need a place to live in this world, but I don't want it to be in my body. All right, so like I mentioned before, the first thing to consider is dietary changes. And if it's not for the sake of killing a parasite, it's the sake of longevity, anti-aging, and just to feel better. So that is, of course, reducing sugar intake to pretty much nothing. So I laugh because most of my listeners might not follow this part, but there's really no healthy place for sugar. There are, nature sugar, which is fruit, and you have to be a little careful with that too. But I would just stick to what's naturally grown that's sweet. Like dates are something that really people that are trying to get nutrition with their sweetness, that's what people will use is dates. And again, you have to be real careful. A couple dates have plenty of sugar. You don't need to eat, half the container. So dates, fruit would be the only source of sugar. And then also those milk products. So cheese, milk, yogurt, and ice cream. And so you really want to be careful of those milk sugars as well. So, stay away from those during a parasite cleanse completely 100%. And once you feel that the symptomology has decreased or completely gone away, then you can have it back, but you need to be careful because that's where you got into trouble in the first place. So that would be up to you. But I always say, why go back on a sinking ship if you've finally found the lifeboat? So the next one is to add more healthy fats and avoid the seed oils and the manufactured fats. So butter, like grass-fed butter, which is available everywhere now. That is incredible. Grass-fed butter is so good for your microbiome, so good for your gut, so good for your cells. So you want to improve your immune system so they know what belongs in our body and what doesn't. So grass-fed butter, I would definitely add. And of course, fiber. Fiber is something I think every human is aware that they need, but they're not really so happy how they have to get it. And that is mainly from vegetables. So a variety of vegetables, changing up your vegetables, leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots. You really want to have lots and lots of veggies in your diet. And all that fiber, just like it implies, it basically is like this beautiful, gentle broom for your intestinal tract, which it needs cleaning too. It has systems in place, but it expects us to help with the addition of fiber. There are many people that are not a big fan of vegetables, so they will choose supplements to add more fiber into their diet. And I'd say something is better than nothing, but vegetables also give us nutrition. And so when with those nutrients, that is how the immune system is built. So you really want to make sure that you're not just isolating certain fragments of what the body needs, and expect the 100% result that someone might have discussed with you. So vegetables are the best bet, but again, adding some extra fiber, that's great. If you are considering psyllium, a little caveat to that is lots of water with that. Psyllium can be very harsh and drying. I do recommend it sometimes during a detox program because you want to make sure your bowels are, emptying as quick as possible and really getting the parasites out. But psyllium can be drying, so I only usually suggest it during detox or a small amount, empty stomach with a big glass of room temperature or warm water. All right, my favorite solution for parasites is pumpkin seeds. Who doesn't like themselves some pumpkin seeds? They're absolutely delicious. You can roast them, put a little Himalayan salt on them. You do need to use the hulls as well, though. So that's the trick. I don't know if you've ever eaten the hulls, but they're very chewy and fibrous. So a lot of the things that kill parasites are in the inner components of like the shell and the hulls. So pumpkin seeds are great. What they do is paralyze the parasites. Now, I hope I'm being accurate in the word paralyze. So numb, so that way when you have the bowel movement, the parasites can leave and they're not like, sticking as a biofilm to your colon wall. So you definitely want to get those sneaky buggers out when they're not expecting it, because they do love to hide and they know when they're trying to be killed. So pumpkin seeds are a really healthy way to add nutrients and fiber to your diet. And they're so good for you. They're high in zinc. Again, great for the immune system, great for guys helping with the prostate. So it's a win-win and very affordable as well. Cranberry is the next thing. I did watch this video about cranberry, and I am not sure if it is legitimate. Matt and I are going to try their experiment. They were swishing with unsweetened organic cranberry, and they looked at the bowls after they spit, and it was very unique what was in the bowls. And I don't think that it's a lie, but I have never heard of this before. And I tried to look up anything from my mentors on this, and I couldn't find it. So Matt and I are going to try it. It's a $6 investment in a tart, cranberry juice. It's so sour cranberry juice, but I absolutely love it. It's so good for you. I explain each and every day that you want your duodenum, the sensor of your digestive system, to really experience all senses on your tongue. So sour, astringent, bitter. You don't want it just to be sweet and salty. You want all different senses, so that way the bile ducts can clean out, that the digestive system can really stimulate every pump in action to move things and kill things. So it's really important that we do that. And speaking of that, apple cider vinegar would be my other daily solution to keep parasites at bay. I have spoken about apple cider vinegar for 40 years. The stuff is incredible. It's super reasonable. If you don't like the taste, no big deal. Put a teaspoon in a great big glass of water. You barely taste it. You can cover it with some lemon and lime to flavor it up. But it is so critical for your microbiome to keep the homeostasis of your acid and alkaline balance. You need that stomach to be really acidic to destroy these parasites. As well as your intestinal tract, it needs that apple cider vinegar, digestive ash to really keep the microbiome strong. And remember, 80% of the immune system is coming from the microbiome. So we really want to protect the mucus layer, making sure that these biofilms with these parasites hiding are not hiding in there. Again, the body knows what to do, but we just need to get the material. So having a little tiny bit of apple cider vinegar first thing in the morning, and then before you go to bed, hopefully on an empty stomach, you are really improving your digestive system, your elimination, your immune system, and everything else. Again, a very small investment. I know that some of the big box stores are selling the gallon bottles now, very reasonably priced, and it's great for cleaning too. So definitely pick up that apple cider vinegar. I love the Bragg's. It is still good quality, but there are other more mom and pop companies that make some great unfiltered organic apple cider vinegar as well. All right. So that was all. So adding, good healthy fats, fiber, pumpkin seeds, a little bit of cranberry. And I am not an advocate of juice in any way. So cranberry would be like, we're talking about a teaspoon. Maybe you could flavor your apple cider vinegar water with it. Because again, sugar is pretty much the poison of the body. So we do not want to drink juice ever. Okay. So those are daily things you can do to really keep the parasites at bay. But if you would love to kill them and actually go on a detox, then you have to take a little more stricter methods. So what you would start with, well, this is what I start with my clients, is supporting their microbiome with 2 products. I do the Ion by Zach Bush, so the Ion Gut Health. Okay, that stuff is absolutely incredible. It's TerraHydrate. It's been around for 40 million years, and it is supporting your whole microbiome. So it's not a killer, it's a supporter. So what it does is all the things that belong in your body, all the systems that are meant to be working in your body, it supports all of that. Because the more you give to the good guys, the bad guys won't feel welcomed. Okay, so the ion gut support, it's a simple liquid. It has no taste, it's shelf stable. It's actually very affordable, more affordable than most probiotics. And it's just incredible stuff. So I start with that because we really don't want to have too much detox or uncomfortableness during a detox program, because then people tend to give up, or they're just so uncomfortable they can't make it to work. So if you support your gut first, then it's a little easier to keep going. The next product is Dr. Berg's Gallbladder Support. You can easily get this online. I also sell it at the store. Dr. Berg, he is incredible in my life. I think he's super smart. He makes a million videos. You can get lost with all the information. But one thing that he does say, and he has said for many, many years, is you have to take bile salts to support your gallbladder and liver. Too many people are getting their gallbladders taken out, and I do believe because the gallbladder is not stimulated anymore with the bitters, with the sour, with the astringent, and the dietary requirements. So all these seed oils, all this fried foods, they're really just killing our gallbladder. So to support the microbiome, you do need to support the bile, and that would be using his bile salts with his gallbladder support. So that would be the next step. And then the most famous regimen, I do a practitioner-based supplement that is suggested from Dr. Allison that works with us. He's a functional medicine doctor. And so it is basically wormwood, black walnut, oil of oregano, garlic, clove. It's just really common. You can Google these things. These are really the most common things people use for parasite cleansing. So what I usually suggest is North American oil of oregano, because that is from the top of the Himalayan rocks. It's not farm-raised oregano. When you get farm-raised oregano, unless you do a lot of homework, you're not really sure where it's coming from, how active it is, how it was grown, pesticides, herbicides, antifungals, like you never know. With a North American P73, it is really strong, really effective, incredible. Dr. Cass Ingram, who formulated that, he has recently passed, but he was incredible as far as his research and using it with patients. He claimed it would do everything and anything, but one thing I know for sure is parasites hate oil of oregano. So the great news is it does so many other health benefits. So even if all your parasites don't end up dying, you still helped every other system in the human body. So I love it. Yes, it is very, very spicy. I do suggest getting the oil, even though the spice can be overwhelming, because think of that duodenum again. And even especially like all the Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, they always wanted you to experience it with, like, especially with teas and poultices and concoctions, because if your body doesn't really feel it coming, it's not doing all that preparatory work. But if you really know you can't handle oil of oregano, they do make a soft gel, so you still will get a good punch, and you won't have that spice on your tongue. But if my kids can handle it, you can handle it. It's really not that bad. The next one, black walnut. There's a part of, and I know black walnuts are pretty common here in Florida. I love black walnuts, but inside the shell, there's this component that parasites hate. And the black walnut is definitely great to kill them. I love the tincture. It's super, super bitter, and it just, parasites hate it. Wormwood, like the name implies, and that's why they call it wormwood. So worms do not like wormwood. So that is also an herbal tincture. You can get these things in capsules. I do give my clients options. I order it per client, and I will ask them, do you want the powder? Do you want the liquid? Do you want the capsules? I do try to push the liquids as much as possible. Garlic. Who doesn't love themselves garlic? I always mention the story. I think New York Times or one of the big papers interviewed all the pioneers in the health food industry. And there was about 20 of them, and they asked them, if you were on a desert island, what would be the one thing you would bring with you? And all of them said garlic. I thought that was quite incredible that they all said garlic. Did they all text each other that morning and be like, hey, what are you saying? What are you saying? But garlic really is incredible. Great for the cardiovascular system, really good for blood pressure and cholesterol, but especially for parasites. Parasites don't like garlic, but it does have to be raw, so that not cooked garlic. And so this could be something that if you do not like, eating raw garlic, my husband can give you his recipe for aged garlic. I'm not aged, it's pickled garlic. It's really yummy. It's really yummy, but still has quite a spicy kick. He's a big fan, so I suggest with couples you both consume it because you can still get that breath odor. Oh boy. And if again you're like not liking this, there is Kyolic garlic, which I do sell at the store. It's sold at most health food stores, and they age their garlic so that way it can be odorless on the breath. You do get some good components. I'm not sure if you get the components that the parasites really hate so much, but it is definitely a good substitute if you refuse to do the raw garlic. All right, clove. Clove oil is always in our little first aid pantry. Clove oil is great as a first aid for dental worries. So if you have any kind of tooth pain or gum pain, clove oil is incredible. It's like a natural numbing agent, and parasites hate it. So I'm not sure if it does the numbing to the parasite and that's why, or it's just like these other type of herbs where it's just so strong and pungent and sour and bitter that it just doesn't like it. But clove is great for your mouth and for your dental health. So again, a win-win. The next one is berberine. So berberine got so much popularity on the social media channels. It was compared to Ozempic and semaglutide, all these things that promise you the world, but then can literally shut your organs down. So berberine is for metabolic syndrome. What that means is it helps with visceral fat, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all the things that we worry about, and they kind of all are looped in together. Berberine is a natural component of fruits and vegetables, and it's super healthy for us, and it has no side effects, and it's actually very affordable. So berberine also is anti-parasitic. So this perfect, and you can also use this in that daily regimen that I was mentioning before, but it's great during a detox. And what I especially like it is it helps with lowering the glucose and helping with your sugar cravings. So like I mentioned, when you have those uncontrollable sugar cravings and you know better, but it's like that sugar monster inside you is still stuffing, a donut in your mouth, you want to consider the berberine. Again, it's super healthy. You won't be wasting your money. It can improve other factors in your body, but hopefully get those parasites at bay with it. So for the last few minutes of the show, I am going to talk about the calcium bentonite clay. Now, if what I say kind of sounds exciting, I did a whole show on this topic just a few weeks back. So if you go on YouTube and see my past shows, the calcium bentonite clay, I discussed it the same hour with castor oil. This clay, okay, we have the product called Head to Toe Products. It's from volcanic ash. It's incredible, incredible quality. It is perfect during a parasite cleanse because, again, you want these parasites, even when they're dead, to have this little ability to get the heck out, right? So the clay will help you with that. All you have to do is you take, a few tablespoons in a mason jar, put some water, shake it vigorously, or you can even use a blender, but just shake it really good. We bought some mason jars that have just the plastic lids. You do not want to use any metal lids or metal containers or a metal spoon with the calcium bentonite clay. It works on a property called absorption and adsorption. So it is going to basically take the junk out that doesn't belong, and it's also going to nourish the body with lots of minerals. So for that to work, for the parasite detox, you do need to do it a few times a day, if not more. Again, the parasite detox is temporary, so this is not the daily regimen, but you can also do like 1 tablespoon a day of the mixed amount. So you're going to mix it in that mason jar and then take a serving off of that mason jar. And that you can do daily for health, but during a detox, you want to do a good amount of clay. Different people do different amounts because we never know how much parasites are in us, what our body weight is like, and our lifestyle. So we want to just kind of watch. You don't want to go into too extreme. So if you start getting constipated, you want to back up a little bit. If you have diarrhea, you want to kind of increase a little bit because that can slow that down. The other really nice feature is you can take clay baths. So if you have a bathtub, it would be incredible during a detox of any type of detox to do clay baths. So you take that same shaken liquid, and after you have a nice filled bathtub with nice warm water, you just kind of pour a couple cups of that mixture into the bath with you, and that's going to help also take out anything that doesn't belong. So heavy metals, it's an incredible combo to detox heavy metals at the same time, a parasite. And I have a guest on next week, but the following week I'm going to discuss a heavy metal detox. It's perfect to do them kind of almost simultaneously, but if not directly after. The parasite detox does need to be done at least 10 days, and then a small break, and then another 10 days. Some people will say 14 days, 5-day break. Why everyone's suggesting breaks is because parasites love to hide. So they know when they're being killed, and then they'll hide. So you kind of want to surprise them with attack too. Okay? So I hope everyone finds this information useful. If you have any questions, I'm going to be heading to the store shortly after. So 772-464-3598. I hope everyone has an amazing day, and I appreciate any input. All right, bye everybody.
You've been listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, heard every Wednesday morning following Swap Shop in the 10 o'clock hour, right here on WPSL. Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast, webcaster to the world on Google Home, Alexa, and of course the TuneIn app on your smartphone.